Celebrities impersonating other celebrities is pure gold. And some of these impressions are so spot on, they'll have you rolling on the floor. We have scenes of Jamie Foxx becoming Mike Tyson and Kevin Spacey turning into Al Pacino. And let's not forget Jay Pharoah, the man who can literally become anyone. So which impression do you think will have you crying from laughter? Buckle up, because these imitations are about to crack your ribs. Jamie Foxx as Mike Tyson is a masterpiece. The voice, the lisp, the chaotic energy, he nailed it so hard, even Tyson approved. That's not even an impression at this point, it's a full transformation. He's got the voice, the lisp, the wild stories, the weird little mannerisms. Mike loved it so much, he invited Jamie to hang out. That's how real it was.
Hi, this is Mike Tyson. Welcome to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, can I get chicken and biscuit and some slaw?
Then there's Jay Pharoah, who basically has a whole playlist of celebrity voices just chilling in his throat. His Chris Rock is so sharp and chaotic, you can practically feel the spit flying. The voice gets louder and faster, the hands start moving like he's fighting invisible ghosts. It's Chris Rock on stage without the real Chris in the room. Jay doesn't imitate, he completely channels the madness.
Okay. All right, listen. At this point, anybody could be the president. Listen, I don't care. Listen, hold on.
And then Jim Carrey shows up like he's been waiting for his turn to break everyone's brain. When he takes on Bruce Dern, he slips into this super serious emotional zone that feels like it belongs in a dark indie drama. His eyes go wild, his tone turns intense, and suddenly, it's not comedy anymore. It's acting with a capital A, and somehow still hilarious to watch.
Keep a good man down, can you, Bruce? Can ya? You look at me when I'm talking to you, son.
Next, Jim Carrey flips the switch and dives into his Robert De Niro impression. He starts squinting, mumbling, and giving that suspicious De Niro glare that always looks like it's judging your pasta order. The voice is a little rough, a little New York, and totally spot on. It's like someone hit play on De Niro and handed the remote to Jim Carrey.
That's not fair. I was drunk.
It's exactly what I'm talking about. You look like Jerry Lewis.
I thought I looked more like De Niro, you know?
But the real chaos happens when Jamie Foxx and Jay Pharoah team up on Ellen to take on Kanye West. It's two versions of Kanye arguing about who's more Kanye. They've got the stuttering, the deep philosophical nonsense, and the "fam, let me finish" energy down so well. It feels like Kanye cloned himself just to interrupt himself. It's confusing, dramatic, and ridiculously entertaining.
That car ain't
Nah, because
I don't like how it look. And don't
listen, this ain't even a hold on, fam, because look, this is the real. What we not gonna do is, you ain't gonna put me in no full focus. That's not gonna happen, fam. And also, fam.
Jay's just warming up though, because right after Kanye, he slides right into Barack Obama like it's nothing. His voice drops, the tempo slows, and every sentence sounds like a thoughtful presidential announcement about absolutely nothing. It's so good that for a second, you forget it's a bit. You're just sitting there like, wait, is that actually Obama talking about Beyoncé's butt?
I've been observing that booty for a long time. I would tell you Jay-Z is very lucky, but, you can't say no to the presidential package.
Then out of nowhere, Kevin Spacey casually drops an Al Pacino impression that's so precise it feels like it was rehearsed for months. The voice, the intensity, the stern face, it's all there. It only lasts a moment, but it hits hard, like a little surprise Pacino cameo. You blink, and suddenly, it's Tony Montana reading cue cards.
Oh, shut up, Dave.
They like it.
I worked on something just for this moment.
Okay.
I had to write it down.
Now here comes Bryan Cranston. And if you thought Walter White couldn't be funny, his Kevin Hart impression will change your mind fast. He copies Kevin's high-pitched panic voice, the dramatic arm flailing, The way every sentence sounds like it might end in a nervous breakdown. It's unexpected, but somehow it works way too well. Cranston becomes Kevin on the edge of a full meltdown.
No! 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 Brian, let me tell you this, okay? We're all gonna die. I'm just not gonna help.
And speaking of legends, Eddie Murphy doing Tracy Morgan is just hilarious in a very specific, ridiculous way. He tells this story about Tracy visiting his house and repeats the same phrase over and over in that classic Tracy voice. It was loud, strange, and just slightly off. It's like Eddie trapped Tracy in a loop and pressed play. You can tell it's out of love, but still chaotic.
He said, I went over there, he made me Frank's, boy, Pop Frank's.
Then Jay Farrow comes back in a full circle and gives Eddie Murphy a taste of his own medicine. He hits that unmistakable Eddie laugh, that slick high-pitched voice, and that confident swagger he gives when he knows how funny he is. It's not just a funny impression. It feels like Jay's paying tribute while also roasting the guy just a little. It's bold, fast, and totally earned.
Well, you know, what first I would say to these people, just hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? I gotta say this. Why did it take so long? That's my question. I should have been had me an Oscar.
Seth MacFarlane doesn't just do impressions, he weaponizes them. His Liam Neeson act is one of those performances that sneaks up on you and completely takes over the room. He drops into that iconic voice with such ease, you'd think Neeson himself had wandered in by mistake. It's got the slow, deliberate tone, the menacing calm, and somehow, he even makes it funny.
I have a very particular set of channels. If you'd like to purchase these channels, I'll come to your house and install your cable. And that'll be the end of it. If you don't, I will look for you.
Then Denzel Washington casually slides into a Jay-Z impression like he's been secretly practicing it for years. On the Queen Latifah show, he tells this wild little story about being in the studio with Lenny Kravitz. And then, out of nowhere, he mimics Jay-Z's voice so perfectly, it's like Jay popped in for a guest appearance. He nails the slow talk, the weird cadence, that signature laid-back delivery. Denzel doing Jay-Z wasn't on anyone's bingo card, but now we kinda need a full mixtape.
Of course you did.
I was in the studio with Lenny Kravitz, and he was doing something with Jay-Z, and he talked.
And of course, Jay Farrow had to turn the tables and do Denzel. This one's just too good. He gets the pacing, the you know what I'm saying pauses, the deep confidence. He throws in that head tilt and the tiny eyebrow squint, and suddenly it's not just Denzel, it's Denzel trying to flirt, motivate, and threaten you all in one breath. Jay's version is smooth, loud, a little chaotic, and weirdly charming, just like the real deal.
When everybody's listening, you know, I really like it because the ladies, they look at me and they say, damn, that man's sexy, oh.
That's good.
Then out of the blue, Bill Hader comes in hot with an Al Pacino that's absolutely off the rails. He does this whole bit on Conan where he's rallying a movie crew, yelling about loving film, women, wine, and for some reason, kangaroos. It's loud, it's unpredictable, and it's so spot on that it almost feels like Pacino himself got possessed by a stand-up comic for 5 minutes. Hader throws in the pacing and those deep breathy pauses. And somehow it just works.
Oh, wow. We got some lights. Got a couple of cameras. That's nice. Yeah.
Now there's Jamie Foxx again. And this time, he's going full presidential. He starts mimicking Barack Obama. Not just the voice, but the whole delivery, the dramatic pauses, the thoughtful stutters, even the way Obama moves his hands like he's conducting a very serious invisible orchestra. And the wild part is that he did it in front of Obama himself and had the man cracking up.
Pause. Well, as a matter of fact,
There you go again.
That's cool. Kevin Spacey's Christopher Walken is one of those impressions he just pulls out of his pocket whenever he feels like causing chaos. It's weird. It's poetic. It's a little off-center, which is exactly what makes it brilliant. He even reads a Halloween rhyme in Walken's voice, and somehow makes trick or treat sound like a cryptic threat.
It's crazy. You know, the AFI, it's an award. It's like the Tony, which I'm up for, and you have a bunch of. It's crazy.
And then Jay Pharoah pulls one of his best moves yet, doing Kevin Hart right in front of Kevin Hart. He starts bouncing around, high energy, talking in that fast, panicky voice like everything is the most dramatic moment of his life. It's spot on and bold, especially with Kevin watching him the whole time. But even Kevin had to laugh because it was just that good.
Mark Twain. Well, goddamn. Wow. My stand-up show, the show that I do, the show that I do is only second to the birth of Jesus. I swear to God. I swear.
Tom Hiddleston performs them like a full theater piece while doing impressions. When he takes on Chris Evans as Captain America, he mimics the voice, the posture, and even the energy. It's sweet, goofy, and somehow still respectful. You can tell he's a fan, even while poking fun.
Like, oh, man. Okay. Wow, Zach, Nerd HQ, man. It's pretty rockin'.
Then Jay Pharoah slides back in again, this time doing Shaquille O'Neal, or Shaman, as he calls him. It's big, slow, and just slightly confusing, which is perfect. He even makes up this whole thing about Shaman being his cousin and haunting his studio, and it's so offbeat you just have to go with it.
All my friends were saying mean things. Hurt my feelings. Shaq a big strong man outside, but soft inside. Shaq hate bullies. Everyone is calling Shaq dumb.
And Tom Hiddleston also shines by doing a Loki impression. But here's the twist. He uses Chris Hemsworth's voice. He starts speaking like Thor doing a Loki monologue, and the whole thing just collapses into this hilarious mix of drama and Aussie charm. It's clever, weirdly emotional, and somehow makes you want to rewatch all the Marvel movies again.
Get going. It's not this simple. It's not your natural state. It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave subjugation. The bright lure of freedom diminishes your life's joy. Basically, what I'm saying is.
And cut. That's all.
Bradley Cooper kicked things off again with a Christopher Walken impression that felt almost too good. It wasn't just the voice. It was the quirky rhythm, the pauses, even the hair gestures. You could tell he's been around Walken long enough to absorb the essence by osmosis.
To maintain your hairs, keep rubbing it all the time. Fingers in your hairs, great. Bradley, great.
Then Anne Hathaway came in with a full-body transformation into Matthew McConaughey. The laid-back swagger, the drawn-out words, the sudden bursts of intense clarity, she nailed every beat. It was the kind of impression that made you forget you were watching Anne at all.
You lean back, you talk, you maybe don't enunciate as much, but sometimes you do, you enunciate intentionally. You drink more, you feel a little bit cooler. He's just great.
Right after that, James Marsden decided to throw his hat in the ring with his own take on McConaughey. And this one had flair. He leaned into the southern twang, the easy confidence, and the little vocal quirks that make the real McConaughey such a character. It wasn't a copy. It was a performance.
Thing anymore, because it's like everyone can do it. Yeah, sure. But what you got to do is throw in a little Texas whistle in there with those S's. So it's like when you start to hear those S's start to creep on in. And like I'll make it. Once you step outside to my AIR stream, I'll make you a margarita, blow your horns off.
Emma Stone took a left turn into pop star territory with a Britney Spears impression that had people doing double takes. She brought the energy, the tone, the whole 2000s music video vibe. It was playful and just the right amount of ridiculous.
Oh, baby, how was I supposed to know?
Then comes a huge twist of Michelle Obama doing an impression of her own husband. She captured the pacing, the thoughtful pauses, the structured way he breaks things down, and because she knows him better than anyone, it felt more like affection than imitation.
Sasha and I are like, oh God, no, don't get him started. He's like, well, no, I'm glad you asked that. Let me just answer that in 3 points. 1, and then 1A, and then 1A and B. And Sasha and I are like, oh.
Bradley Cooper popped back in again, this time channeling Robert De Niro without even realizing it. He'd been around him so much that it slipped into his speech patterns, gestures, everything. 1 minute he was just talking, and the next, he was full De Niro and totally unaware.
I sat down and he just said, he didn't say much, he just said, yeah, I see it, I see you, I see it, okay.
Meanwhile, Tom Hiddleston, who already gave us a killer Chris Evans impression earlier, returned with even more Captain America energy. He shifted between Evans and Hemsworth like it was nothing, switching voices, posture, even mimicking their behind-the-scenes banter with laser precision.
And,
Oh my God. Oh God. It's like, oh man. Okay. Wow, Zach, Nerd HQ, man. It's pretty rockin'.
Sarah Paulson shared a story that had everyone laughing about how Drew Barrymore saw her impression and actually approved. It was one of those rare moments where an impersonation didn't just land, it got the stamp of approval from the original.
so thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so honored to be in attendance today. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm talking about substitute teaching. I'm so grateful to be here.
Things got even funnier when John Hamm and Jimmy Fallon teamed up to do Ray Romano on a pretend golf course. The grumbling, the pacing, the frustration over a bad shot, they had it all down. And then Ray himself fired back with his own John Hamm impression, flipping the joke perfectly. It was chaotic, competitive, and hysterical.
Come on. Be right.
Dude, you have to create a Ray Romano golfing though. You pull the string and it just does that.
Come on. Why?
Austin Butler took it in a different direction with his take on Quentin Tarantino. He didn't just mimic the voice, he captured the eccentric, unpredictable energy of being on a Tarantino set. The fast talking, the big gestures, the random food trucks, it was all there.
And I'm standing next to Quentin, and he goes, how great is this? We're eating crepes, we're making a movie. He's like, you know what my thing is? I want to give everybody on my set such a good time that their next job sucks.
Then Ariana Grande stepped in and reminded everyone she's not just a singer, she's a chameleon. Her impersonation of Jennifer Coolidge wasn't just funny, it was eerily accurate. She slipped into the voice, the expressions, and the attitude, like she was born to do it.
God, you look like the 4th of July.
I'm telling you.
Matt Damon then followed with his own behind-the-scenes gem, channeling Jack Nicholson in a moment that caught him completely off guard. He wasn't even trying at first, but once it clicked, everyone in the room saw it and heard it.
Out of nowhere, he goes, you know, I never would've made it this far in my career if I wasn't a great fucking writer.
Really?
Yeah, out of nowhere. And it was the most, and I went like...
Let's move on to how Anna Kendrick brought Kristen Stewart to life in a way only she could. All the awkward pauses, the subtle shrugs, the nervous energy. It was so spot on that even Kristen herself might have done a double take.
You know, there's like, the Bellas are out of college and, you know, they go on a USO tour and there's like, you know, hilarity ensues, so.
Oh my gosh.
Kate McKinnon, never one to hold back, brought Gal Gadot into the room without her even being there. She didn't just imitate her, she painted a whole picture of what it's like talking to her, from the beach dreams to the unexpectedly detailed tax advice. It was weird, specific, and totally Kate.
Girl, and she was like, I love to go to the beach. I love to paddleboard. I love to watch my children run on the sand. I love to go to the Maldives.
And that's a wrap on the most accurate celebrity impressions out there. If this cracked you up even a little, go ahead and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more chaotic brilliance just like this.